want to give you, most of your language should be subject to definitions, clear definitions, and we don't have that. When we say we have a great nation, what do you mean by that exactly? Another person says to me, I believe in freedom. I believe in participatory democracy. So I say, do you really believe that? They say yes. So did you vote for the Vietnam War? I guess not. Did you vote for the space program? I guess not. Did you vote for highway design, the Capitol building, procedural systems? No. That's just bullshit. I'm sorry. But they give you that to maintain control. What is really needed is the intelligent management of the Earth's resources for the benefit of everyone. Now, the only way you can do that is through technology. Everything that you have, your lights, your air conditioning, your automobile, your airplanes, all technology. Politicians can't give you that. Politicians don't know what to do. They make laws. Now that's no way to change. Say no to drugs. Well, that's not going to stop a person from selling drugs as long as there's money in it. But if you do away with the money system and build access centers where anyone can have access to the necessities of life without filling out 1 million forms or appealing to Fresco, it's all available to everyone. Everything on earth is made by people that worked hard to achieve that. So a young man at Princeton got up and he said, I don't like your system at all. I said, I can't do anything with what you're saying. What is it that you don't like? He said, well, you want to give people things for nothing. I said, were you born in America? He said, yes. You got the airplane, the telephone, the radio, airplanes, ships, all for nothing. You didn't have anything to do with that, I'm sure. Right? So I said, does it hurt you? He said, no, but I don't like the idea of people getting things for nothing. So I said, are you paying your way through Princeton? He said, no, my dad is. I said, does that bother you? Does that hurt you? He said, I still don't believe people ought to get anything for nothing. So I said, okay. Your dad is wealthy, as I understand it. He said, yes. When he dies, you want his money to go to the Heart Fund and the Cancer Fund, not to you, because you don't believe anybody ought to get anything for nothing. He said, just a minute. Well, they left him off the platform. When I say people hardly know what they're talking about, because they're not brought up to be sane. They're brought up to fit in with the establishment. So it's very hard to ask people, what do you vote for? I believe in democracy. There's never been a democracy anywhere in the world. There can't be a democracy if people have different incomes. If you get minimum wage and your kid gets sick, you can't take him to a doctor because you can't afford it. So he buys a used car. The used car breaks down more than a new car, and he's up to debt. He has to take his kid to a clinic, lose a day's pay, and he's on minimum wage to start with. So how do you look at that? How can you have a democracy if mothers are not educated on how to feed their kids nutritional food? Today, they pump chickens to grow faster, put ingredients in food to color it to make it look better, and add artificial flavoring in many instances. And so you don't get the best food. In the future, the medics would be concerned with what, and the nutritional experts would be concerned about the food people get. Now, a lot of you have never heard of this book, 100 Million Guinea Pigs. Did anyone ever hear of it? Nobody. In America, it was a bestseller. It attacked the drug industries and showed you why the drug industries didn't use celery juice to lower blood pressure because there's no money in it. So they make these little pills, they get $2 or $3 for it. This book exposed the drug industry. And the American public, it was a bestseller, said we got to have a Pure Food and Drug Administration, people that monitor that and watch over you. So they did build that, they got that. But today it's managed by the drug industry. And people that run it used to work for the drug industry. So you see, everything becomes corrupt in the monetary system. I'm sorry about that. So when I say to you, go to your big department stores or your food stores, you'll see lots of stuff. We are now capable of producing in abundance. During the war, We gave soldiers airplanes that cost, today anyway, nearly $1 billion apiece. How come we don't do that during peace? Send every kid to college that wants to go. That would improve all nations. But if you don't have the money to go to college, you become second rate. So we say in the future everyone will be given the best opportunity so that we can bring out the best in every human being. And if you grade children, you got a C, you got a D, you make jealousy and envy. People say to me, excuse me, I know two people from the same environment. One turned out to be a priest, the other a gangster. If environment is everything, how do you get those differences? You get those differences by playing with the youngest child, 4 years old, while the 7-year-old's this. At a lower level. You can't play with one kid. This is my youngest kid. You must take the older kid, put him on your lap, and the younger kid and say, this is your baby brother. Never say to a girl, why can't you be like your sister? She puts everything in her place. You leave everything all over the place. I have to pick up after you. Then the sister becomes jealous. That's where jealousy comes from. It comes from poor manipulation of the variables. And war is really not to bring democracy to other countries. It's about resources and exploitation and removal of the resources. National loyalty is really a form of stupidity. All people need clean air, clean water, arable land, and a relevant education. That means no businessmen, no advertising, no investment bankers. Relevant education means how to restore the environment and the damaged reefs. Not to, I don't know if I told some of you this, but the United States Army about 45 years ago dumped 65 tons of nerve gas off the coast of Miami, near the Gulf Stream. How can you love the country and do things like that? How can you care about people and bomb their cities? We'll fire and press a button and wipe out cities. The reason people do that, they get a medal. They get an X on the fuselage of how many planes you shot down. I used to work for Ernst Udet. He became the head, one of the top brass under the Nazis. Well, I worked for him at Roosevelt Field. And I said, how did you shoot down 70 airplanes? And he said to me, I would fly above aerial combat and watch the rookies that couldn't handle planes well and knock them off. Now, what kind of a person is that? He's a war hero, great man. Eddie Rickenbacker, the same. They're bums and stupid people brought up by an arrogant society that doesn't give a shit about anyone else but the established institutions. So I'm trying to tell you something. We must join together with all nations, take care of the earth together and one another. When you think of the cost of World War II, I'm not just talking about the military cost. I'm talking about taking care of veterans after the war for years. And then all the cities bombed out, the museums and art. You remember England and Germany flattened out. Take that cost, you know what that could have done? It could have housed everyone on earth in brand new housing. Build art centers, music centers, cultural centers, housing, parks. Soldiers should be trained as problem solvers, not killers. When you train people to be killers, obviously soldiers don't know what the hell they're doing because they think they're defending their country. They're building hatred for the next 20 years. When you bomb the Arab world and flatten it out, you're not doing any good. So years ago, when I was proposing this society, I said to myself, Jacque, how are you going to change everybody in the world? They all think differently. Some people have 10 wives, in some nations. It's all so very different. How are you going to change them? That's what thinking is, talking to yourself. If I say, I'll see you Saturday, he says, I'll take the kids there, and I can't see you Saturday. So thinking is nothing magic. It's what you've been exposed to and asking questions. So I said to myself, how are you going to change all these people? I said, I don't know. That's the first thing you have to learn to say, I don't know. Do you think we'll ever get to Mars? Nah, not in 1,000 years. That's your opinion. Just say I don't know enough about aeronautic space travel or the conditions on Mars to give you an answer. We don't talk that way. When we see a new airplane without wings, we say it doesn't have wings, it'll never fly. The question is, how do you propose to lift off the ground without wings? I'm a layman, not technical. If you do that, there's no argument. Who are these people you have to write to? Must be dummies entirely so. They should be at the forefront of human problems in government and not try to stop you from doing things, but to welcome you on the air. But what they do is manage news. If it doesn't look too good, you don't get. I've never been on the air except once in America. But in other countries, when we were invited to Turkey, they gave me an hour and a half, and Turkey said, how do we build the first Venus project? Now, they invited us to Vienna. They gave me 7 minutes with a whole bunch of academicians. I couldn't say anything in 7 minutes. And that happened in other countries. So we don't go to any other country unless they give us a chance to present what it is we wish to present. And then you get mad at it, you ask questions, that's the way to do it. But you don't get up and you don't really applaud until the guy gets through. So when the question comes, when you guys ask questions, I ask you not to be polite and to question the hell out of everything I say. And if there's things you don't understand, you have to let me know.